Maria declares at the end of this episode that her boyfriend is Joseph. This is quite very rare. Like, this is very rare. I don't know how to really react to this because the ending of this is very rare. Like, let me explain. A lot of series that have romance and stuff like that, they never, usually, not all the time, but usually some of them never have a good conclusion when it comes to anime. And Maria has announced, like, this is my boyfriend. I mean, it was a marriage declaration in the middle of this episode. So, Maria and Joseph are becoming husband and wife, kind of. And next week is the final episode, so most likely they're going to get together. So that right there, I'm shocked. I'm so unbelievably shocked because it's a rare event to see how characters come together and become a couple. Because the progression that Maria has gotten in this episode, okay, like with the romance-wise, is, I know, better than some manga that have been ongoing for 100+ chapters now and have had like 0 to no romance progression. So to see how Maria could get all this romance progression done in like less than 12 episodes it's crazy. It really is. I just like, whoa. So this episode, Maria the Virgin Witch. Clearly, the events of the series is starting to wrap up. We're starting to get to the final conclusion of the series, and there's a lot of questions I'm still wondering where it's going to go, because you have it to where Cernos, that's hanging around Maria's house. I'm still wanting to know what role this person is going to play, because the vibe I've gotten off of him since the very beginning is some form of like the devil, like he's the devil or Satan or something like that, someone that's trying to tempt Maria. And I wonder what role this dude's going to play, because he's been like a reoccurring character in the past couple episodes since his introduction, and I really hope, since next week is the final episode, we get some clarification on him, or maybe we might have a season 2. Maybe it's possible we'll get a season 2, because I don't know how many chapters we are into the series, the manga series of Maria, because I've heard that the Maria the Virgin Witch is done. Like, the manga is done, but I don't know how many chapters there are, and I don't know how far we have gotten in the series when it comes to the manga. So maybe there's a possibility of a season 2, because there's a lot of things that slightly need to be wrapped up, especially when it comes to the epilogue with the romance, to the main theme of what the main goal of the series is about, and then Cernos and stuff like that. There's a lot of exploration that this series can take, especially with the different races too that was introduced, 2 episodes back. And so I really hope Maria the Virgin Witch takes down this path and tries to introduce, or tries to clarify some of these different themes that try to introduce into the story, and, kind of either hint at a season 2, or maybe give us a conclusive ending, but we'll have to see. So, one thing. Majority of this episode, about 80% of this episode, is seeing Joseph versus Golfa. And that was the highlight of the episode. Or besides the marriage part, that was the highlight of the episode. Just seeing Joseph and Golfa go at it, beat the shit out of each other, and seeing how, like, both of them are arguing, and Joseph is trying to talk some sense into Golfa, and Golfa's, like, talking sense into Joseph. They were just pretty much saying their ideals to each other, fighting over their ideals, wanting to beat the shit out of each other, and then eventually it turned out to where Golfa wanted to be like Griffith, but he got wrecked hard. Like, Golfa tried to become a Griffith, okay? When he's like, I'm going to take your woman, Maria, and I am going to make her unpure in front of you and make you watch. He tried to pull Griffith. That's exactly what Golfa tried to do, but thankfully enough, Joseph's like, I'm not having none of that shit, and yeah, backhands Golfa into the ground and then starts beating the crap out of him. And speaking of that scene, very brutal, and Maria in general is a very brutal series, because the way the violence or the fighting shows in this series, the way it's showcased, it's so brutal. When you see, like, these characters with their regular faces, and all of a sudden when they're getting punched, their faces swell up and stuff like that. Like, Maria, just seeing how Maria has these black eyes all over when she's walking around this episode, it just goes to show you what she had to deal with in these past couple episodes. I mean, along with Joseph getting the shit beat out of him, you see blood coming down his mouth and stuff like that, and then Golfa getting his face wrecked in. Just seeing these different character designs, the way these animators showcased, the different blood or wounds on the characters, I like that little effect when it came to this episode. It's so cool getting to see how the characters were getting damaged as they slowly continue to fight, and then see how, at the end, you saw it to where they were both swollen or all hurt and stuff like that. It's really, I don't know, it was just really cool getting to see that. So, Maria kind of stops Joseph from going over the deep end in this episode. Joseph is about to kill Golfo. Like, he was punching his face in, continually punching him in the face until he was blacking out. Like, Golfo was blacking out. He was gone. And Joseph was still just beating his face in, and then Maria had to stop him, and he came to his senses, and he realized what he was doing. And pretty much after that, you have it to where there was dialogue between Maria and Joseph talking about, how they want to be together, marriage declaration, stuff like that. A very cutesy little romance progression going on there. And so the episode was very solid. It's a very solid episode that finishes a lot of things. That's just the main thing I want to see. I know if there's not going to be a season 2, the only thing I truly want to see from the series, if it's not going to have a season 2, and this is going to be the conclusion next week, I just hope we get some really good, solid epilogue when it comes to Joseph and Maria. I wonder how they're going to handle Maria losing her magic, because if Maria loses her magic, the people of the church are going to be coming after her and trying to burn her, kill her, and stuff like that, and they'll be in danger, even worse danger than they already are. So I wonder how that element's going to be taken into account, along with how, you have to where Maria's entire in-game goal was to protect everybody and try to save the world to stop wars. I mean, we know it's very naive. Us people know it's very naive to try to stop wars because it's in human nature and you can't stop that. But I wanted to see Maria's answer, or something along the lines of her answer. But at the end of the episode, she chooses her happiness over the happiness of everybody else. And I wonder if that's going to play a major role in the final conclusion of the series, because at the beginning, you had to where, Maria had to sacrifice her happiness to be able to protect everybody, or use her magic, and she could never have love, but now she has love, and is she going to sacrifice everybody else for her happiness? I'm guessing that's what she's trying to hint at, so, yeah. Episode, I enjoyed it. The pre-scene, that's the last scene I want to discuss, that pre-scene, when he brings up the dialogue saying, like, oh, hey, we should use anything that benefits people. Politics, war, witches, and then ... He did a ... after that, and you can assume what it is. Like, you could put different words, but judging by the way the series has been geared towards, I'm guessing the priest, when he was hinting at war, politics, and witches, he was also either hinting at religion or God. One of those two. I'm willing to bet he was thinking about one of those two. So, the priest is just dirty as fuck. Like, oh my god. He's lost it. Like, he straight up has lost it completely. And it's crazy seeing his outlook on everything now after these past couple episodes of how Maria has changed him and how he uses, witches and stuff and uses their potions to heal people. It's crazy. And we kind of find out the reason why the grandma a couple episodes back got healed was from a witch's medicine. So yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Y'all wonderful there and out wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.